Alright, hey guys, Pax, welcome back to another Pokemon Pocket video. Mega Rayquaza EX is coming out in roughly 18 days from the time I'm recording this video and has left the community divided. I feel like one side of the community is very skeptical. They want the card to be good, but at the same time, looking at the information that we know, doesn't look too promising, especially with the track record of its type. And of course, the other side of the community is just very hyped, very excited. Amazing collab with the TCG. Mega Rayquaza has potential to change the whole game. Potentially introduce power creep, especially with Series C coming in a few months. So yeah, a lot is riding on the success of Mega Rayquaza. Definitely one of the most popular megas in all of Pokemon. So yeah, with that being said, I want this guy to be broken. I want this guy to just turn the whole game upside down. A lot of hopium going around. But yeah, in this video, I'll be going over all the information that we know of so far in regards to Mega Rayquaza, as well as a bit of speculations going over potential attacks, abilities, energy type, potential energy requirement, because Dina could easily make this the best dragon type card ever. Inversely, possibly the worst, which again, I feel like no one really wants. If you guys ever play Dokkan Battle, they recently released a Beast Gohan unit that's just absolute dog water. When they revealed it, everyone was hyped for like the first 30 minutes until they realized it was complete dog shit. They're calling him Fraudhan. I don't want this to be Fraudquaza or Fraudquaza, depending on the pronunciation. Please don't be that. This guy has to be the absolute GOAT. But yeah, if you guys are new to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed this commentary style video, just me talking. Hopefully you enjoy the background footage that you see right now. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, before getting into the speculation portion of this video, I just want to go over briefly what we know so far. We don't know much. We really don't know much. Essentially, this image right here is all we know. Yeah, so Mega Rayquaza, that Mega Rayquaza is Mega Rayquaza, yes. It is Dragon type, as you can see from the border. It has a Dragon type border, just comparing a Dragon type Mega EX right here. As you can see, night and day, it's the same thing. This Pokemon also has an ability. Yeah, you see that ability icon down in the bottom left-ish. That ability could definitely make this guy just absolutely viable. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised without that ability. This guy would be absolute dog water. But to just give this guy an edge, they added that ability to make it actually runnable. But yeah, that's pretty much all we know. Just, it's Dragon type and has an ability. HP wise, we don't know much, but we can of course speculate. This Pokemon is also basic. I guess you can add that into the information that we know. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it is a basic. Given this, I'm just gonna go down all the stats. So HP wise, this Pokemon will have an HP of around 170 to 180, maybe even 190. But just looking at the track record, looking at previous basic Mega EXs, the lowest amount of HP currently in this game of a Mega EX is 170. Pokemon such as Mega Mawile, Mega Absol, Mega Pinsir, Mega Diancie, and Mega Sableye. Pokemon that have a base HP of 180 include Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Audino, Mega Latios, and Mega Heracross. So yeah, with that being said, Mega Rayquaza will most likely have, I'd say probably 180, maybe even again 190. Kind of stretching it, but it is Mega Rayquaza. I wouldn't be surprised if they bump it up to that. Definitely not 200 HP. As I mentioned, Mega Latios EX has an HP of 180. Just comparing the only Dragon Mega EX that we have currently in this game. I mean, it is a promo card. Granted, looking at the stats, it's not meant to be good at all. With that being said, Mega Rayquaza has to be 1,000 times better than Mega Latios. Imagine if Rayquaza is like worse somehow. People are gonna lose it. Again, I keep on mentioning this, but there's a lot riding on the success of Rayquaza. This whole collab is definitely bringing a lot of players, new players into Pocket, or even returning players as well. So if they fumble with this, obviously they're gonna lose players. But yeah, once again, HP most likely 180. Now looking at the required energy, it's most likely going to be Fire Lightning. There's a chance it could be colorless. I'm basing this off of the previous Mega Rayquaza cards from the TCG. In regards to adapting Dragon type cards from the TCG, usually when it comes to the energy requirement, Dina has been somewhat faithful. Just looking at like Dragonite, just Dragonite EX from TCG compared to Dragonite EX from Pokemon Pocket, they both require water or lightning. Same thing with Haxorus. In the TCG, the majority of Haxorus cards require fighting metal type as well. So with that being said, it's kind of safe to assume that it will be Fire Lightning. Either that or full colorless, because there is one Mega Rayquaza EX from the TCG that requires only colorless energy. I'm just going to pull it up for reference. It's actually very similar to Pikachu EX. Attack is pretty much the same thing. One key difference, of course, is that, of course, Mega Rayquaza from the TCG can do a max of 150. Since you have 5 bench slots, of course, in Pocket, you can only do a max of 90 since there's only 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go down this route, maybe like a very somewhat power crept version of Pikachu EX. Kind of skipping forward though, I'll go over the attack itself later on in this video. But yeah, energy, fire, lightning. And given that, when it comes to the current meta, as well as like just looking at supporter cards, Fire Lightning is definitely not too bad. I mean, we have Pokemon such as Magby, Pichu, supporting with energy. If you want to stretch it even further, we have Magneton. So using Elemental Switch paired with Magneton's ability, you could potentially feed Mega Rayquaza and get him fully built. And in regards to Fire type, keep in mind, Mega Rayquaza doesn't benefit from Charmeleon buff. Charmeleon is an amazing support for Fire type, but keep in mind it's only for Fire type Pokemon. You can only attach the energy gained from this ability to an active fire Pokemon. So given that Mega Rayquaza isn't fire type, it won't really benefit whatsoever, depending on the ability, which I'll get into later on. There's also Flame Patch as well, which again, Mega Rayquaza doesn't benefit from since it's not fire type, unless ability. So in regards to the ability, there's really a lot of directions Dina could take this towards. So for one thing, energy generation, they could easily make Mega Rayquaza EX very similar to Giratina EX. Just pulling up Giratina for reference. As you can see, after using the ability, you get one free Psychic Energy ends your turn. I wouldn't be surprised if Rayquaza gets an ability very similar to that, but debatably far better. So this is the one I kind of concocted. Once during your turn, you may attach an energy of your choice onto this Pokemon. If you use this ability, discard one card from your hand. If you guys think this is too broken, for the last sentence, instead of discarding a card from your hand, if you use this ability, draw a card and discard it. I feel like this is a decent balance to the ability, making it so that the card you discard, sure, it can help you out feeding Rayquaza, but you can easily discard a late game win condition card such as Cyrus. So yeah, you have to be very careful using the ability. This allows Mega Rayquaza to be ran in any color archetype, being very self-sufficient, as well as potentially supporting other Pokemon as well in future metas. Just looking at the current meta, if this was the ability for Mega Rayquaza, it would have somewhat decent synergy with Miraidon EX. Mega Diancie EX as well is able to generate Psychic Energy very passively. Albeit for that deck, I mean, I feel like you're better off not running Rayquaza, or if anything, not running Mega Gardevoir, because imagine running a deck with 3 Megas, like, especially depending on Mega Rayquaza EX's retreat cost. And with that being said, in regards to retreat cost, I'm just going to briefly go over that. Once again, just kind of briefly switching topics, but in regards to retreat cost, I very much want Mega Rayquaza's retreat cost to be very low. Ideally 1. It would be insane though if it had no retreat cost. Just imagine that, like a basic Mega EX with a 0 retreat cost. Amazing if you are forced to lead with Mega Rayquaza going first, you can just easily retreat out of it. But then again, I mean, even with a 1 retreat cost value, we have cards such as X-Speed, Balloon granting a free retreat. So there's definitely options. But yeah, ideally a 1 energy retreat cost would be ideal. Energy generation will be absolutely huge, especially with how RNG dependent feeding dragon Pokemon is in this game. Another potential ability is card generation. Not really my favorite. I mean, we have already a lot of cards that help with generation, such as Copycat, Lucky Egg, stuff like that. In the past, we got, of course, Sylveon EX. And if you want to stretch it even further, in regards to Dragon type, we had non-EX Garchomp right here. Granted, for this guy, you have to discard a card in order to draw. Another potential ability is focusing on disruption. So abilities such as Oricori's ability, essentially cock-blocking the majority of EXs. The only EX that could really attack Oricorio is Mega Metachamp EX. If you guys didn't know, this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, allowing you to attack Oricorio. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Mega Rayquaza EX gets the same ability as well. Like, imagine the ability is just this Pokemon isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Or you can also stretch even the bench as well, just completely negating Darkrai EX's ability as well as Greninja, just not able to get chipped like that. That'll be pretty interesting as well. Kind of reminds me of Arceus EX in a sense. For Arceus EX, as you can see, the ability essentially makes him immune to special conditions. Mega Rayquaza could be immune to abilities in general, which will be huge because, of course, ability damage is far more prominent in this game than special conditions. Another card focusing on disruption is, of course, Goomy. This is very annoying to go up against. I just really hate this card with a passion. Could definitely mess you up. Personally, again, in terms of this overall disruption, it's not my personal choice for Rayquaza's ideal ability. If anything, I feel like energy and damage should be a bigger focus. We could also get a damage boosting ability. So this is my take on a potential ability that could make Rayquaza just absolutely broken, especially towards the late game and even in the middle game. Discard as many cards as you want. This Pokemon does plus 10 damage for each card discarded this way. This might be a bit of overkill, but I would be absolutely happy if this is the case. This will make it so that Rayquaza can do a ton of damage potentially, depending on its base damage, of course. But given this ability, imagine discarding like 5 cards doing plus 50. Depending on the attack damage, you could tweak this a bit. You can do plus 20. Plus 30 will be absolutely insane. Like, discarding 3 cards, you can just do plus 90 in 1 turn. But yeah, if anything, maybe plus 20, just tweak it like that. But yeah, given that late game, Rayquaza can potentially just one-shot a lot of Pokemon, potentially even Mega EXs, depending on, of course, the attack, which we'll go over later. I have an idea for a very broken attack, especially towards the middle to late game. But yeah, damage boosting ability would be pretty cool to see. The last ability I'll be going over is something very similar to Rapid Strike Urshifu. So as you can see, this Pokemon has the ability Double Type. As long as this Pokemon is in play, it is considered both water and fighting type. Slightly tweak this ability for Mega Rayquaza. As long as Mega Rayquaza is in play, it is considered both lightning and fire type. This will make it so that Rayquaza will benefit from cards such as, of course, as I mentioned before, Charmeleon, as well as Flame Patch. In regards to lightning type support, benefiting from Electrical Generator, as well as Electrical Cord. If they go down this route with the double type ability, they have to cook with the attack. And speaking of attack, Mega Rayquaza will require either 2 to 4 energy. Once again, looking at the previous Mega EXs, we have Pokemon with an energy requirement of 2, such as Mega Absolute EX, as well as Mega Sableye. Of course, looking at both Pokemon, they don't do too much damage. They're more so ability focused, just doing either a bit more damage with their ability or posing as disruption. So yeah, not doing too much damage. With that being said, this is not my ideal energy requirement. I mean, it'll be cool to see, yeah, this Rayquaza is able to attack as fast as possible, but at the same time, I much prefer Rayquaza to do a lot of damage. I want this guy to be an amazing middle to late game finisher, albeit they could go down this route if they have the ability damage boost. Basic Mega EX Pokemon that have a 4 energy requirement, we have Mega Heracross EX. That's pretty much it. Yeah, just promo Mega Heracross. So looking at this, as you can see, this guy does a ton of damage. Build up takes several turns, which is why this promo EX isn't really worth running. So given this, I feel like the ideal energy requirement is 3. 3 energy, a perfect number to do decent damage. Build up will take 2 to 4 turns with energy ramp, energy generation. It'll be 2 to 3 turns, so not too bad, especially if you are saving Mega Rayquaza for the middle to late game. And in regards to attack, I made an attack that would make Mega Rayquaza EX absolutely broken towards the late game. This is an amazing late game finisher. There's 100 base damage. This attack does 60 more damage for each point that your opponent has gotten. Very similar to Mega Manectric, essentially the reverse of that is pulling up Mega Manectric EX. As you can see, this Pokemon gets more powerful the more points that you've gotten. Mega Rayquaza is the exact opposite. So given this towards a late game, you could do up to 220 damage. With red, if you want to pair this with red, you could do 240, but nevertheless one-shotting most Pokemon in the game. This guy will have the same aura as Genetic Apex Charizard EX, as well as Mega Charizard Y, just sitting in the bench, biding their time towards the late game until they can just absolutely destroy you. So yeah, just to condense all that I stated, my ideal Mega Rayquaza EX card will have an HP of 180. In terms of ability, either energy generation or dual type, making it considered both lightning and fire type, has a retreat cost value of 1, and the attack that I mentioned. I feel like this will make Mega Rayquaza an absolute menace late game and even middle game. Keep in mind, the max damage is of course 220 as I mentioned, but even 1 point, this Pokemon is doing 160. So yeah, let's say you're leading with a baby Pokemon such as Chingling. Once that Chingling gets knocked out, you could sub into Mega Rayquaza, doing at least 160, just like that if it's fully built. So yeah, it's very fun, a lot of potential, definitely somewhat revolutionizing the game. Definitely putting Dragon type back on the map. But yeah, so that's basically my ideal Mega Rayquaza card. The last portion of this video will go over the potential trainer cards that we can get in this booster pack to buff Mega Rayquaza. So I feel like the obvious choice, of course, is Double Dragon Energy. So pulling up Double Dragon Energy from the TCG, this card can only be attached to Dragon Pokemon. This card provides every type of energy, but provides only 2 energy at a time, only while this card is attached to a Dragon Pokemon. So yeah, this card will definitely revolutionize Dragon type in general. Looking at Dragon type Pokemon in the game, we have Non-EX Garchomp. This guy can just straight up attack. As you can see, it only requires 2 energy. Use Double Dragon Energy. This guy can do 90 damage. Your second turn going second. Non-EX Haxorus requires 3 energy. So in around 2 to 3 turns, this guy can just straight up start attacking. There's also Zinnia as well. Zinnia, however you pronounce their name. You can play this card only if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Attach up to 2 basic energy from your hand to one of your Dragon Pokemon. So a somewhat more balanced version of Double Dragon Energy. Both of these trainer cards will be absolutely huge for Mega Rayquaza, especially if they design them to have 3 energy. So yeah, second turn going second. Depending on how fast paced the game is, Mega Rayquaza can start attacking. Also, a bit of a side tangent, but they really have to bring back more full art trainer cards that have an actual background. Cards such as Full Art Nemona and Full Art Iono. Instead of having swirls and sparkling lights in the background, go for that. I think that would be pretty cool to see. But yeah, more of a nitpick. Also, when I was researching this, I stumbled onto this Full Art Cyrus card. Yeah, This guy looks whack. Imagine this full art card comes out in the Deluxe EX pack for Series B. Imagine late game, you're sweating. You're like, I could lose if I put in Cyrus, and this is what you see. This is definitely gonna haunt my dreams, but I digress. There's also Raihan as well. You can play this card only if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. They could tweak this card slightly to make it so that it only applies to Dragon-type Pokemon. Very similar to Professor Sada, but doing a little bit more. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they removed the second sentence in general, just making it basically Professor Sada for Dragon-type. So yeah, there's a lot of cards from the TCG that they could just easily copy-paste into Pocket. The most notable copy-paste is definitely Rare Candy. But the main issue is that I feel like Dina is very hesitant on making Dragon-type too overpowered. Examples of this are Cynthia and Iris. These cards aren't really Dragon-type supports, more so supports for specific Pokemon. Cynthia supporting non-EX Dragonite, Iris specifically supporting non-EX Haxorus. Imagine if Iris applied to all Dragon-type Pokemon. That would be huge. Imagine leading with non-EX Dragonite, you use Iris, knocking out your opponent's non-EX into active, one in the bench as well, and just winning just like that. Just from knocking out 2 non-EXs. So yeah, given Dina's track record, I wouldn't be surprised if Rayquaza gets the same treatment. If they add Zinnia, I wouldn't be surprised if it's specifically supporting just Mega Rayquaza's EX. But yeah, the biggest issue for Dragon-type in general is generating energy. Without energy supports such as Magby, Pichu, stuff like that, generating energy is a gamble. I've definitely had a lot of games where it might have been for my Haxorus deck showcase, but I vaguely remember. Haxorus, of course, requires fighting metal. For 3 turns, I only got fighting type. And I could have won, but because of the bullshit RNG, I just couldn't, and my opponent ended up winning. So yeah, currently Dragon type is very inconsistent. The addition of trainer cards such as Double Dragon Energy would help out tremendously. But yeah, that's pretty much the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed my nonsensical yapping. Really like making these types of videos, so hopefully you guys do as well. Hopefully you like and subscribe. Would really help me out mentally and physically, especially as a small-time content creator. Once again, to reiterate, the new pack should be coming out in less than 19 days from the time I'm recording this video. I'm recording this on 7-Eleven. I don't know why I said it like that, but I'm recording this on 7-Eleven. After this, I might as well go to, fuck it, dude, 7-Eleven just to get a free Slurpee. I suggest you guys do as well. Luckily, my 7-Eleven is just a 2-minute drive from me, so you can definitely just do that right now after the video. But yeah, once again, hope you guys did enjoy. I really want Mega Rayquaza to be good in this game. If they fumble with him, I'm going to be dead inside. A lot more dead than I already am. Ultimately, time will tell. If there are any time travelers watching this video, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's pretty much the video, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Peace.